Welcome to Inside Games, the only gaming news show brave enough to have avoided World of Warcraft hardcore drama until now.
Yeah, there was a lot of back and forth. It was fun seeing it on live stream fails. People are getting real spicy, but this one is a little more severe and I think touches on a really interesting topic in gaming. But yeah, OnlyFangs, calling it quits. Internet personality Soda Poppin has declared that the very popular hardcore World of Warcraft raiding guild OnlyFangs is over due to DDoS attacks on the game that disrupted a very eventful raid boss fight.
Yeah, OnlyFangs was participating in the server race to be the very first to clear the Liberation of Undermine, and DDoS attacks resulted in game instability, player disconnects, and thus unintentional deaths during this race, which is the worst.
Yeah, literally. Well, I mean, it's not as bad as it's not as bad as the computer shocking you in real life and killing you, but it's, it's about as bad as it can get for a video game. This is World of Warcraft hardcore. And it earns that name because if you die, your character's wiped. You have to get to 60 in one shot, no deaths. And then also clear all these very, very hard encounters without dying.
Yeah, this is the latest and most severe instance after a series of raid attempts cut short by DDoS attacks.
Yeah, so this was evolving over the weekend. On March 22nd, that was the original attempt. Soda Poppin declared that attempt to be delayed because they were getting DDoS then. People were getting disconnected. Then the guild attempted the Ebon Rock encounter on March 23rd, when of course DDoS attacks resumed. According to Wowhead, the guild knocked the boss down to around 50% health when players started to disconnect, and if certain players start to just disappear during a raid fight, that's very, very bad, because the people who are still connected just get overrun and killed.
Yeah, as a result, and I feel for him here, Soda Poppin posted an update to Discord saying, quote, "I'd expect OnlyFangs is over." Here's more of the quote too. It's just so sad. I feel really bad for him, honestly, because he's been working a very long time on this. I don't feel comfortable dragging people through getting world buffs, flasks, and consumes, etc., just to raid with the anxiety and probably the actuality of just being DDoS'd again and dying. It's a terrible ending, IMO, but that's the ending we got.
A nice amount of composure from Soda Poppin, which is nice. Doesn't go too harsh on everything, but expresses a lot of frustration and gratitude. Speaking of, yeah, Soda Poppin expressed a lot of gratitude for the enormity of this event and its popularity, saying that, quote, "It's probably the biggest event I've personally ever been a part of in my entire life."
What's weird is Blizzard has not commented on the issue. I guess it did happen over the weekend, but I think it's been happening for at least a few days.
It has been happening, yeah. It's been recurring. I found a lot of forum posts going back into even like 2023. People complaining about this.
Obviously, Blizzard, has a major hit on their hand with World of Warcraft, but this OnlyFangs is really raising the bar for what you can do in World of Warcraft Classic. So I hope that Blizzard does comment on this at some point.
Yes. Theoretically, they already have, for what it's worth. When you start a hardcore character, there is a big disclaimer you agree to, and the most salient part of that agreement is the following. You accept that your character's death is permanent for whatever the reason. This includes disconnections, lag, server outages, gameplay bugs, or any other reason. And we assume that also includes the malicious attempt by DDoSers to throw off a giant raid and a giant stream and just ruin everyone's day.
Yeah, they're ruining lots of people's days, actually. This has revived a semi-recurring discussion topic on the Blizzard forums. Forum user Bada posted the following yesterday, quote, "But let's be real, disconnects and server attacks are not part of the hardcore challenge we signed up for. We expect to die in battle, not in loading screens. And when this many players are affected, silence and policy aren't good enough." I agree as well.
Yeah, the post continues, and these are all very common sense approaches, which I appreciate. Usually internet discourse is a little more fiery than this. Well, we need to come together as a community and make Blizzard recognize this isn't acceptable. Whether it's a rollback, a one-time character restore, or better death protection during unstable server periods, we need a solution. Hardcore doesn't work if death is arbitrary.
Ugliest Weenie on Reddit writes, quote, "It's sad to see the DDoSers get exactly what they want." That is probably the worst part of this.
Yeah, that's what hurts the most, really, is just knowing that some turd out there got their wish just by ruining everyone's good time. You can feel like a shred of power and authority in the universe. This is so tough. This is so tough. Given the nature of DDoS attacks, yes, there are things you can do, but it's the cost of doing a DDoS attack is like a fraction of the cost of defending one. And the cost of escalating a DDoS attack is, again, a fraction of the cost of preventing one. So there's not really a solid tech solution to that. And to some degree, Blizzard should acknowledge and express some kind of motivation to improve the situation. But from their perspective, I can also understand that there's no perfect solution to this. But I also, I totally get it from the gamer's perspective. you sign up for this experience and you participate in good faith. And then, yeah, just after months and months of hard work, someone else can just like tick, tick, tick on a website and just throw it all off. That's not a fun experience, and it doesn't motivate anyone to participate. So to some degree, Blizzard is beholden just from a product level to make sure that people can play and enjoy this. It reminds me of like cheating in Counter-Strike or something like that. Yeah, people are going to cheat, but that's not the game I want to play. Like, I don't want to have to learn how to deal with cheaters just to play the game. And I assume it's, you know what also reminds me a bit of like celebrity in real life. Like, if you want to be an actor or singer, part of the deal isn't necessarily that you get harassed by paparazzi, but it's just kind of the way things go, and what are you going to do? It's not fair that you have to sit inside all day and have all your food delivered and live life as a recluse, but you can't make it illegal, or you can try to a certain point, but yeah, I don't know. This one's really tough. It's easy to say Blizzard should do something, but when it comes to what, I'm at a loss. I don't know. How do you feel about this, Bruce?
So since they are DDoSing the entire server and not individual streamers like on their own internets, their own ISPs, I believe that Blizzard is absolutely responsible for this. And these streamers, I've been watching these streamers for months playing. Like, there's lots of streamers I've been following on this because I think it's fun. And there's stakes to this when they're streaming, and people have been spending hundreds of hours, thousands of hours grinding up characters, and if they die, it's a big deal, right? Everyone's like, oh no, I can't believe, everyone's really sad. And then they can't go raid, and there's a whole thing to it, and it's really fun. It's a really fun thing that a lot of people have been doing, and so this takes the fun all the way out of it, and I do think that Blizzard is responsible for the fact that since it is happening during OnlyFangs raids, or, you know, like when there's stuff at stake, and the server's getting hit, I believe Blizzard should enact, like they said, maybe a rollback, or maybe more protections, like Lawrence was saying. Like, it's just a little, put a little more money into it, because they've been marketing your game for 6 months or a year or whatever. So help them out a little bit. Because these are professional content creators that are great at their job. Soda Pop's been doing this for years. He's an amazing content creator. He's just one of the many that do it. So I do think that this is Blizzard's responsibility to fix this. And hopefully they will. I don't know that they will. Maybe they'll just be like, well, tough luck. But I believe that the streamers and the content creators deserve better than this.
I agree too. It's just my mind boggles a little bit whenever I start to think about the enormity of implementing something like that. Because it would have to be a case-by-case, human-approved situation where, yes, the server did go down, you died as a result of it. I mean, they have GMs that review player interaction logs and stuff for bans and stuff like that, so I imagine it would entail something similar. Yeah, I imagine Blizzard's not too excited at the idea of spinning up a whole new department, or biting off that whole, review process, or even implementing technology where they could reinstate a character or roll back a death. That may not even be something that their game can even do. Maybe there are recorded instances of it. I'm kind of speaking out of ignorance right now, but provided those things don't exist, and in most situations they probably wouldn't unless they need to be built. I guess we've hit that circumstance though. And also, yeah, Blizzard's earning enough money. Like, that's not the problem. They're not out there hurting for cash. So yeah, when it comes to the integrity of the game, which is kind of vital, it does require some response from them. But how much? And how much can you promise? How much can you feasibly deliver? Again, that's what I go back to, is you can beef up your anti-DDoS protection. You can investigate some kind of rollback method. But what's to stop someone from, like, maybe they die and they didn't like that, so then they launch their own DDoS attack so they can claim that they were DDoS so they get their character back. These things happen. So it's like even the solution comes with complications that people are going to manipulate.
Yeah, that's true. I will say that most of the content creators that have been making this content are broadcasting every single minute of what they do. So, like, that at least adds a little credence to the fact that they're doing it honestly. So hopefully, maybe that's something that Blizzard could sort of that would imply that there's an agreement between the content creator and the company. So yeah, so hopefully, I don't know. Maybe I have too much faith in Blizzard, but I feel like in just a couple of days they're going to figure this out, rather than be like, too bad. I would blow my mind if there were some people, because truly, like, the developers, I know they care about their game and they care about what people are doing with it. Developers always watch people stream their games. They love it. So hopefully there's somebody in that's in Blizzard that is watching this and be like, we got to fix this.
Yeah, I think when the most popular hardcore group calls it quits because of this issue, that necessitates more of a response than a bunch of individuals saying, oh, I lost my character, which is kind of curious because it points to the value and the power of influencer media. And kind of to what you said, Bruce, it feels a little uncomfortable that like high profile streamers can hold this level of clout, or might even get like a velvet glove, or no, wait, what's the word? Might even get like preferential treatment when it comes to evaluating their case, you know? Joe Schmo, who lost their character due to the same DDoS, they may not have their character evaluated and reinstated in the way that Soda Poppin' would, because he's been streaming and has all the evidence, but also a much more prominent voice. So maybe there's a streamer advantage here to getting recovered after getting DDoS'd. But yeah, man, just in general, these are the kinds of stories that I'd never thought I'd really come across in my lifetime. Characters dying in a video game becoming a buzzworthy topic inside of games media. So this is interesting, but also frustrating.
Lawrence, are you going to tell us about another video game that might be frustrating?
Yeah, we'll see about that. I mean, it's very French, so that's frustrating on one level right from the top. But yes, I went to, as I'd mentioned last week, I went to an independent or an ID at Xbox event that they held at GDC. Played a bunch of indie games, and the one today that I want to talk about is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. This is an exceedingly Lawrence game because it is a very pretty turn-based JRPG style game in the style of Final Fantasy or Persona. They're not very shy about their inspirations, but the setting is a trip, and like I said, very French. So there's a celestial being called the Paintress that is sort of this like eldritch terror that kind of is way out on the horizon. The Paintress every year paints a new number on this giant stone monolith, and everyone that's that age immediately just evaporates into the ether. No one knows why this is happening. So this game is called Expedition 33 because the most recent number painted on it was 34, and it counts down every year. So now every 33-year-old is basically on the cusp of being erased. So a bunch of 33-year-olds mount an expedition to go find the Paintress and stop this cycle, stay alive, and save their world. So that's pretty cool and very fatalistic, which kind of permeates the game's sensibilities. In the demo I played, all the characters were extremely grimy, very, very Les Mis, just like covered in shit and dirt and just like always on the raggedy last edge. So there's a desperation behind the story and the characters that I liked. But the combat system has some active elements, Paper Mario. I think Lost Odyssey is what comes into my mind, or even Legend of Dragoon if you want to throw it all the way back. But you do these attacks, these little prompts popped up. You have to tap buttons at the right times to minimize your damage, enhance enemy damage. I'm a sucker for any turn-based JRPG that has some meta layer to it, some skill expression beyond just picking the right things from a menu. I'm all about that. And also the setting itself, very grim, very surrealistic as you're kind of approaching this god, I guess. Landscapes start to fracture. You have like etherical currents wisping all around and broken islands with trees kind of floating all over the place. It's Unreal Engine 5, but it's a very small dev team, about 30 devs making this game. So it's interesting to see what smaller teams can do with improved tools, and I think we're seeing a lot of benefit from that because this game just has some pretty trippy visuals. And so that's the complete package for me. A weird headspacey setup, a raft of characters that are constantly beleaguered, and then cool trippy landscapes with some buttons to hit and some cool flashy JRPG style combat. So I'm looking forward to it. Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It's coming out on April 24th, coming to PS5, PC, and Xbox Series. I think it'll also be on Game Pass. So there you go. We're kind of in a renaissance of JRPGs now, or turn-based RPGs. So I'm excited to see even more of them come with different concepts and different aesthetics.
This game's getting a lot of really good buzz. I've heard of this game before you talked about it. And I saw a few people playing it. What I didn't know is that it's only 30 devs. That's so cool. That is so cool that it's 30 developers, because it doesn't really look like a game that was made by 30 people. Looks like a much larger dev team, which I hopefully they will take as a compliment. So I'm really interested to try it, and this is typically not my bag. Usually turn-based RPG is not really my thing. I've had fun playing a few, but generally speaking, not really. So, but I am looking forward to trying this.
Yeah, and just on the Game Pass tick, there's a couple of other JRPGs on Game Pass I want to shout out. Apropos of nothing, Sea of Stars is really, really good. That also has some active elements where you tap buttons in time with the combat, but it's very much in the style of Chrono Trigger, which is awesome. Very dreamlike. Even the music has kind of this like calypso vibe to it. So I recommend that really highly. Then the other one I want to shout out is Eiyuden Chronicle. This is made in the style of Suikoden. They just put out the 1 and 2 remaster of Suikoden, but a lot of PS1 style, very classically styled JRPGs. They're all back, baby, and a handful of them are on Game Pass, so definitely worth trying out the first, couple of hours to see if they grab you. But Expedition 33, I'm very excited for.
Lawrence, if none of these are your bag, there's also a game coming to Game Pass called Atomfall, which is ridiculous. I don't know if you have played it at all. But Atomfall is kind of like a Fallout or a Stalker. As far as I can see, you can kill literally every NPC, and it's super derpy and ridiculous. So I think you might enjoy that if you are not into the turn-based RPGs.
It's really intensely British, right? Like super goofy British humor and stuff.
The most British. Yeah. So and it's kind of an interest. It's made by Rebellion, the people that made Sniper Elite. So and it's first person. So it's a very interesting game. That I have played a little bit of and find very charming in a kind of a ridiculous Bethesda way.
Yeah, I was looking forward to getting some time in on it. Which, by the way, we're not sponsored by Game Pass. I do get Game Pass codes as part of an affiliate program. So I don't pay for it, but they don't pay me. So there you go, disclosure. I'm just a fan of Game Pass, that's all.
I mean, I think most people are. All right, we'd also like to shout out Inside Games patron RedN003, who somehow died during the World of Warcraft hardcore character creation. So they didn't even start the game and they died. But at least they didn't lose any work.